G'day, welcome to Patrick Cat's Place again. I've got some more Elvis gear to show you. The first one is a sign that I picked up on Amazon a little while ago. It's in our front window, so anybody coming up the driveway knows they have to be an Elvis fan or they're not welcome. Ha ha ha. The next thing I've got is some very early photos of me. This one is taken at the premiere of Follow That Dream in Melbourne in 1962. So I was 58. I was 14 years old. That's me on there with braces on my teeth and everything. And that's a cardboard cutout, life-size cutout of Elvis that everybody wanted to have their photo taken with. That was a lot of fun. The next photo is me again in 1964. A girlfriend in England sent me this poster of Elvis, almost life-size colour poster. So that was up on my wall for many years until I left home. And the next one is I won this photo of Elvis, giant-size photo, from a TV show. They must have had a promotion or something to do with Elvis, and obviously I'd say a lot of people rang in and said, what are you going to do with that giant photo of Elvis now that the promotion's over? And the channel decided to run a competition, and somehow or other I won it. So I was really pleased. That was around for a long time. There's me, that's the compere of the show, can't even remember his name now, and that's the other girl that won second prize. I forget what she won, but she wasn't real happy. She wouldn't like the photo. And this one is taken in my bedroom with the photo where it lived for quite a few years until I got married. Took it with me, first husband. And like everything else, Elvis, it got left there when I left him. Anyway, shit happens. Now, okay, these photos are from 1966. In Melbourne, every year we have what's called a Moomba parade. I think Moomba's an Aboriginal word. I really can't remember. But anyway, it's on the Labor Day weekend and on the Monday, and it's mainly consisting of just having fun in the city, and there's a procession of floats along the main street, and they all end up in the gardens, and everybody sort of hangs around and has a good time. Anyway, this particular year, 1966, I was the secretary of a fan club before I met my first husband, and Gay, the president, she decided we'd have a float in the Moomba parade. Now, she was really lucky. She had all sorts of contacts with the Melbourne City Council and with RCA, and her father was absolutely fantastic. They built the tray to have the, the float on, and they built this thing here, and we painted it. And they got this big giant crown from the Melbourne City Council. I think it was something to do with the King of Moomba years ago, but they lent us this crown, so that went on the back of the tray. And then RCA gave us a record, like a gold record. That was up by the crown, and we painted the front of the float, Elvis 1966. Moomba, yeah. And that's me. It was float number 100 in the parade. And there we are, ready to set off. We had one fan club member each side of the gold record, and then 4 of us standing around the crown. And we had hundreds or probably thousands of leaflets to distribute about the fan club, and we threw them out as the float was moving along Swanston Street and ended up in the gardens, and that was there in the gardens at the end of the parade. And we just had so much attention. I don't think we won a prize. I really can't remember now, but probably not, because the float was fairly simple compared to some of the bigger floats. But that was so much fun, and we got thousands of members within weeks, and that was a really good fun. Then Gay just lost interest, handed it over to me, and by that time I'd met my first husband, and so we restarted the fan club. But no, I don't think there's ever been another since then, so it was a one-off. It was very, very good, a lot of fun. Okay, now, Elvis's gold Cadillac came to Australia in January 1968. And I went in, of course, with some friends, and we took photos of it. Because these colour photos back in 1968, how old's that? 50 years ago, something like that. So they've faded a bit. I don't think they're Polaroids, I think they're regular photos. Possibly if I found the negatives I might be able to get them reprinted. Don't know. That's me. And another cardboard cutout of Elvis. That was a beauty too, a full-size one. That was so lifelike. I remember taking that photo to school and showing the kids at school. Say, oh, look, I met Elvis. We went over to America last year and I met Elvis. Yeah, right, Gina. In your dreams. Oops. Sorry. Okay. I've got a new little tripod and so we're on a steep learning curve here. So I've got this other photo just very quickly in this book, in this album. Jerry Lee Lewis, and in Melbourne we came several times, but this was in 1970, standing on top of the piano, doing his thing as he did. And, where are they? Oh yeah, Bill Haley, in Melbourne in 1974. So we went and saw him too. So I've seen a few of the early rock stars. Good fun. Now I've got to stand this up properly and refigure everything because I bought a new book on Elvis. It's another new book, 2016, but it's new to me. And this is just the most... Some of the other people have had... the other YouTubers have had... they've done a flip through of it. But I got it yesterday, and $400. I was absolutely sweating blood and tears until it arrived. And if it didn't arrive, $400 down the drain. But it arrived. That's the hardcover, and the book comes out. And it's like that. And it is beautiful. Elvis on television between 1956 and 1960. So I'll do a flip through if I keep that straight. I'm sorry about the glare. I've tried everything to get rid of the glare, but nothing much is working. I don't want to talk too much because otherwise it just takes it away. It's pretty much a historic document. It's Boxcar Enterprises, and it's about virtually the first years of television, because Elvis was a very big part of that. I don't suppose he even thought about it at the time, or maybe he did, but lot of writing, but absolutely fantastic photos. Not just of Elvis, but the different people that were involved in television at the time. It goes on about the technology, colour technology, studios. It's a really... I actually sat here last night for about 2 hours and just read the whole book because it was just so interesting. Let's see if I can organise this better. Okay, there's our boy. Beautiful, beautiful photos. These are the... excuse me, the Dorsey Brothers stage shows. CBS Studios. Elvis up there. I don't know whether all the photos or a lot of them were taken by that photographer Wertheimer that took so many great photos of Elvis in the 1950s. So, oh, excuse me, frog in my throat. Some of his fans. Don't know who that is. Manager of Jackie Gleason. Dorsey Brothers stage show. I love the look on Bill Black's face there. Wow, what are you doing, Elvis? Going mad. I'll put this down, I think. Just going to have to do my best here. Let's see, pull it back a little bit. See if I can do any better. Like a lot of these books, you know, you've seen some of the photos, like that one's a very well known one, and probably that. you've seen them before, but then there's other gems just further on the book. There's just some fan, and I love the photos of all the fans too. Photos of Elvis that I've never seen before. Shouldn't surprise me. I mean, really, I've said it before. Has to be the most photographed person ever on this planet, ever. Well, he's so photogenic, isn't he? And it's interesting because all those Milton Berle shows are in black and white, and somebody's gone and colorised them. I don't really think... I actually love black and white photography. I think it picks up a lot of stuff that colour can miss. The shadows, you know, for instance, look at that one. I mean, that's just... that is just so clear. And these ones... Because a lot of these photos too are just the rehearsals, not from the actual show. So they wouldn't have been around much at the time. Yeah, but there must be huge archives of photos of Elvis. Well, photos of anybody, I suppose, but when you think about it, wow. You know what I really love about Elvis? He's always a little bit taller than everybody else. It just... I know he didn't like being called king, but he was like a king. He really had that presence and charisma and sort of majesty. Even when he was younger, he had that. They say he was nervous, but he always sort of exuded an air of confidence. Well, to a degree, without being overconfident anyway. I guess he just loved what he was doing. Especially that sort of thing where he's getting hugged. If that was the first photo I ever saw of Elvis, I'd think, what an arrogant bastard. That's just the look on his face. Looking at that, Elvis gets ready for the dress rehearsal wearing a black rayon shirt with a pink yoke. This shirt was sold in a memorabilia auction in 2010 for $60,000. Wow. Oh, well, it's like the scarf, I suppose, that anything that belonged to Elvis now, it's just getting more and more valuable. I hope that glare is not too bad. I'm just looking in the camera, it doesn't seem to be too bad at the moment. Oh, now this is interesting. On the Milton Berle show, Steve Allen? No, it's Milton Berle. They gave him an award from Billboard, and I remember watching it and thinking, oh yeah, you wonder what it says. Well, here it is. Triple Crown Award, Billboard, presented to Elvis Presley for his RCA Victor recording of Heartbreak Hotel, best-selling record in the nation's stores, most played record on the nation's juice boxes, and most played record by the nation's disc jockeys. So that's interesting. You know, it's good when it's nice to see Elvis get awards, but it's even nicer to know what the award was actually says. Okay, let's pull this back a bit. Okay. I remember photos of Elvis with her. She was a Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, Irish McCullough. McCullough? Yeah. I love the way Elvis, when he hugs a girl, he has his arm right tight around her waist. You know, he really hugs the girls. He hugs. That didn't make sense. Yeah, he really hugs the girls that he holds. Does that make sense? Well, you girls will know what I'm talking about. Mwah to you too, darling. Oh, winks. Wow. Yeah, it would have been good back then in the 50s when, okay, he did get mobbed, but there was obviously still a chance for him to walk outside of the studios or whatever he was doing, and the fan might be a dozen or even a couple hundred of fans, but fans there, but at least they were able to talk to him and have their photo taken and get autographs. Whereas now he's just, yeah, toward the end he was just whisked away in the cars before anybody could get him. Understandable, I suppose. Oh, we are the Steve Allen Show. Yeah, well, the less said about that, the better. Not one of Elvis's. These are actually taken while he was waiting to go in the studio. He was practicing the piano before the Steve Allen Show. Getting fitted for the tuxedo. Not his favourite show, that's for sure. And understandably, they made a fool of him. Just reading in this book more about the show and about the people that were involved and the musicians. The DJ Fontana or Scotty Moore, one of them they're talking about, and he says as much as he hated, he did his best, he kept his cool. Yeah. Lots and lots of photos. Yeah. No, as I say, really, a really good write-up about the show and what happened, how it happened, and what people said about it after. Some of the fans wrote to him, "Dear Elvis, please use your guitar on the Steve Allen Show. We miss it and you look kind of lost without it. Love, Dexter and Sue." Isn't that cute? There's a coloured version of one of the black and white photos. Poor guy. Anyway. Well, what do? You put it down to experience, I suppose, and I think that's probably the way Elvis did. Looks a bit like James Dean there, doesn't he, for the hat? That was a stupid skit too, that cowboy skit. Elvis looked so uncomfortable doing that. Oh, wow. Hey, that was TV in the 50s, I guess, wasn't it? I remember looked at some of the TV shows we had on Australia back in the early days of television, because we didn't get a TV till after 19... We got it set up in 1956 for the Melbourne Olympic Games. I think that's when television was pretty much first set up in Australia. And looking back at some of the early variety shows, oh God, they're pretty weird. But then some of them were very good too. But everybody, it was new for everyone. So there he says, "I'll never do it again. I'll never sing to a dog, and I'll never wear a tuxedo." Now, he might have worn a tuxedo from time to time after that, but certainly not in his stage appearances. Steve Allen. Sorry, it's Ed Sullivan, Steve Allen. We're over Steve Allen, we're on to Ed Sullivan now. And, yeah, they were good days. Ed Sullivan was terrific to Elvis in the end. He recognised that he was going to be a big star and what a nice guy he was. And he said it quite openly. None of the others did that, I don't think. So, There's another thing in the book where it says that Steve Allen approached Tom Parker, I presume, to do a show when Elvis came out of the army, but that had already signed up for the Frank Sinatra Welcome Home show, so Steve Allen lost out there, which is a pity. I don't see why he couldn't have done both, but you know what Colonel Parker was like. He didn't want to overexpose Elvis. In some ways, I guess that worked, because I mean you see it all the time with pop singers and stuff. In recent years, they are overexposed. They're everywhere and everything, and Elvis was not kept secret so much, but it's like he was special. He was preserved. Colonel Parker made sure that he only, did the best for him, apart from the movies. But we won't go there because I happen to like his movies. I just like seeing Elvis. I don't care what the storyline was. A lot of original, what do you call them, newspaper clippings too. Yeah, that was shocking, wasn't it? Ed Sullivan had a bad car smash out right outside his property, and couldn't host the show, and an English actor had to host the show, the first show that Elvis was on. Anyway, they all got by. Rehearsing Love Me. Is that the colour? Yeah, a little bit taller than everybody else again. Wow. This is the third time I've looked in this book in 24 hours. I suspect it won't be the last. I look on his face and I thought, oh, he's got a black eye. And I thought, no, he's having the polio injection. So he's squinting. That was horrible. I remember the polio injection at school. I remember half the kids fainted. It hurt. That was a really thick needle back then. Anyhow, it worked because it stopped polio spreading around the world. Or to a large degree anyway. Now I'll set that back down there again. I remember one of the TV shows he did back then, and he was doing that sort of thing in the Jordanaires, and that might be it. He sort of swinging his hips, swinging around and jumping around and swinging his guitar around, nearly hit them in the face. They had to jump out of the way, and they were laughing. It was just a few seconds, but I remember, that's a scene that's always stuck in my mind. Whoops, there we go. I knew that was going to happen eventually, going to pop off. Let's see. It's always a drama, isn't it, trying to coordinate your camera and your tripod and the books when you're doing a flip through. It's interesting seeing photos like that too when he actually did the song, and you could see the notes in the background, but that was a huge backdrop of the musical notes, wasn't it? There's all sorts of interesting little stories, little backstage stories. This photo shows the microphone that Elvis is supposed to. They'd mark the floor where he's supposed to stand and sing, so the microphone would get him, pick up his singing. They said he used to jump around so much and move around so much. The sound guys had trouble keeping up with him. Good on you, Elvis. Oh, that's a nice shot. Now, who's that? Oh, okay. Elvis's cousin Gene Smith's in the background, and they said that's an unknown press photographer. Here we are, the Frank Sinatra Timex show, Elvis and Frank Sinatra. I know Elvis wore different sorts of hats from time to time, but I never really liked that particular one. I don't think it did him any favours at all. Oh look, I love these photos. Oh, he had such long legs. Wow, gorgeous man. Photos with fans. That's Frank Sinatra. Rehearsals. What have we got here? Yes, there's quite a lot of photos of that particular thing. And then all the different advertisements and the TV shows and stuff. No, it's really interesting. I love all the side bits. Look at that. Yeah. He had some natty clothes, didn't he? Wow, oh, look at that smile. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, he had a gorgeous face. Another one too. Wow. Yeah, everybody looked up to Elvis, literally. See, that's another example of where they've coloured it. That's not too bad, but again, I prefer the black and white. The original photos when they're black and white. Oh, that's a nice photo too. TV guide, the artist's impression. So that's that, and then they have like an epilogue, and they talk about what he did in the after the Frank Sinatra show. He didn't go back on TV for another 8 years. Of course, as we all know, the comeback special and the Hawaii special, and finally the very sad Elvis in concert. Okay. Mary is walking. That's a great way to end the book. And the last page of the book is walking off the stage. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I've got more books on the way, so when they arrive, I'll probably do a few more flip-throughs. I just love looking at flip-throughs of other people's books, so I hope this hasn't bored you guys. Bye for now.